high of the day. All right, let's bring him in. We've got about 90 seconds for him. Mr. Oliver Slope, Blue Line Futures. Oliver, thanks for coming on. I did a lot of talking, so you don't have to. How about that?
I appreciate that. But it is nice to see some green on the screen, especially after yesterday's quote-unquote bloodbath, and not just the agricultural space, but a lot of markets, as you had alluded to in your intro. So certainly good to see some green. I think a lot of this momentum, maybe just a little bit of a recovery from yesterday's sharp sell-off. We also had better than expected weekly export sales. Last week's number was very dismal. It was about 40% under the prior week. This week, good, 24% over last week for about corn and soybeans. So some positive silver linings there. There's still some technical damage that the bulls for the bean market need to repair. 972 to 980, that was yesterday's breakdown point. If we can get out above there, maybe that neutralizes some of the weakness that we've seen so far through this week's trade. I think a lot of the bearishness is hopefully being priced in with regards to South American production potential. And then I think once we turn the calendar over, we're going to have the conversation regarding acres and what farmers are going to plant. And I think that could potentially be a little bit of a tailwind for soybeans at these levels.
I mean, how much the outside markets affecting these markets, if at all?
I don't know that it's a whole lot. I think that the agricultural markets as a whole should be thankful that they were closed during yesterday's sharp sell-off in the equity market. If those markets were open, I think you probably would have seen a little bit more pressure, especially in the cattle complex. We'll get to that in the next segment, but it'll be interesting to see, how the year shakes out in these equity markets, because it certainly seems like the volatility is not going to be dying anytime soon.
You're exactly right, and we're watching a soap opera, kind of a tug-of-war between the 10-year yield and the Fed funds. That can't last forever, but unfortunately, that 10-year yield, that's making it difficult for our ag community because that dollar is getting so strong so fast. So that'll be something we're going to have to watch, too. Great stuff. Stay right there, though. We need to go away. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to come back and talk more with Oliver Slope. He's with Blue Line Futures in Chicago. We'll be right back. Let's bring him back in. Oliver Slope, Blue Line Futures. Oliver, thanks for taking the time here on a Thursday. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride in the cattle complex here over the last several weeks. We got up towards the upper end of the range, 191, 192, and that's been a brick wall really all year, not just as of this fall, but also back to last spring as well. And the inability to get out above there, I think, has probably prompted a little bit of long liquidation. And as we alluded to in the grain segment, the funds are so aggressively long this market where you get that volatility spiking in the outside markets, and you start to get the money flow moving around. And I think some of the weakness we've seen over the last 24, 36 hours has been on the back of that long liquidation. I wouldn't be surprised to see it continue with the end of the year right around the corner as well. Looking at the February live cattle contract, 184 is going to be a pivotal support pocket for us to hold. A break and below there, and you could see 180. And I'd like to note, too, that the fundamentals don't have to change a lot to see a pullback like that. The last several big sharp sell-offs in the cattle complex really weren't anything to do with fundamentals. It was money flow, so that's going to be something to keep a very close eye on at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, boy, we're not going to be short of things to talk about next year or the year after. So you and I are going to be old men. You're going to be a little younger than me, but we're going to be talking for a long time here. Thanks very much, Oliver Slope, Blue Line Futures. He's in Chicago.